Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about the new Nars Summer Unrated palette. This one seemed interesting to me. I talked about it in a Will I Buy It video and a lot of you seem to want a review on it, so I'm going to be reviewing it today, showing you swatches. I'm going to put it side by side with some other Nars palettes of mine to kind of compare color stories. We will be doing 3 looks and of course I'll tell you whether or not I think this one is worth it. So if you're excited for today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. My name is Patty. I would love it if you were here to stay, so please don't leave without subscribing. And with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. I don't pick up every Nars eyeshadow palette launch, however, every once in a while I do see one that piques my interest, and I absolutely loved the peachy pinky feel that this one had. Great for the spring and summertime. I also really like that it has browns that go pretty deep, really nice transition colors, glittery shimmers, which Nars makes a really good formula of those. I was just attracted to the color story. Besides that, every time I have had a Nars eyeshadow palette, I am a fan of their eyeshadow formula. It's pigmented, it's blendable. It's one of these eyeshadow brands that honestly barely has any fallout, and it was very demonstrated in today's video. Once we get into the tutorials, you'll see I was putting chunky glitters on my eyelids without a glitter glue, and I had no fallout. I was so impressed. Anyways, let me go ahead and show you the swatches of this one. Take a look right here at these swatches. I was very impressed by how pigmented these were. You can even see very clearly the pigmentation of the matte transition-y type of colors which usually barely show up, and then every single other shade. I absolutely love these colors that are on the palm of my hand right here, that burgundy and that shimmer shade. This glittery shimmer shade right here is my absolute favorite from this entire palette. Now I have to admit, while I love Nars's palettes and their eyeshadow formula, I find it so easy to blend, so pigmented. I even really like most of the color stories. The one negative thing that I have to say about them, and I feel like it's a pretty big negative, at least for me, is that a lot of their palettes look extremely similar to one another. They use a lot of repeated shades in their palettes, and a lot of the color stories are very similar, which is great if you're just going to buy 1 or 2 palettes to have in your collection. But if you're like me and you absolutely love makeup and you want to collect palettes and you love that each palette, like for example with my Pat McGrath palettes, they each have their own vibe, their own different spirits. The color stories in most of them are different enough, and unfortunately with Nars that is not the case. It's kind of like you have a couple, you have them all for the most part. I really wish they expanded a little bit more and came out with like color stories that were different enough from one another. Anyways, let me show you what this Summer Unrated palette looks next to some of my other ones. Here is the Summer Unrated palette on the right next to the Afterglow palette, which is the smaller one. As you can see, both palettes have golds, transition shades, rosy shades. The Afterglow one has like a random fuchsia pink, but for the most part they kind of have pretty similar vibes in my opinion. And here it is versus the Wanted palette. The Wanted palette is my first ever Nars palette, and where I discovered the amazing shimmery formula that Nars has. This one is slightly different as far as like the individual shades, but I do still think that the vibes are kind of similar. They all have neutral mattes and gold shimmers, you know? I had another Nars palette. I'll look for it and put a picture of it right here. I don't remember the name of it, but it was one that I reviewed for this channel. I did some looks with and I really liked as well. But again, I just feel like they have very similar vibes. I might have decluttered it, maybe by mistake. I don't know that I meant to, but I can't find it anywhere on my collection. So anyways, that is my one big drawback when it comes to Nars eyeshadows, is that a lot of the palettes have similar vibes, and so therefore I'm a little bit less likely to like want to collect them all type of thing. But anyways, I wanted to talk about that one kind of big drawback from like Nars palettes. I feel like it's really nice to have like a couple of them in your collection, and they have amazing formulas, but I do feel like a lot of them tend to have a lot of very similar vibes, and I wished for a little bit more variety. Okay, so now that I showed you the swatches and some palette comparisons, let's go ahead and get into all three of the eyeshadow looks I created today with this Nars palette. To begin, we are going to use the color Isla on the crease. This is a reference number 15 brush, and I am first going to tap it from side to side. I do have my Rare Beauty primer on, and after it's nice and opaque, I'm going to start blending the edges upwards by doing back and forth motions with my brush without putting much pressure on it, just very lightly blending. Now I'm doing little circles around the crease, and did you see how easily that color blended upwards? Wow. With that same color Isla, I'm going to intensify the outer corner a little bit and just again blend everything. And I do have a little bit of concealer underneath my brow. I always do this, and the concealer is a little bit lighter than my skin, so it kind of acts as a highlighter up there. Moving on with my reference number 1, I'm going to grab the color Palmas, and I'm going to intensify the outer corner of my eye with it and start blending it upwards. A little bit more Palmas, and I am dabbing it upwards. And then I'm going to do little circles with the brush of my reference number 1 to blend it up to the transition shade we had put on. I have my reference number 14 in the color Spiaggia Rosa. You guys see it on the screen. I'm sure I butchered that. But anyways, I'm going to blend it into the inner third of my eye look here. So inner third of the eyelid and then into the crease. And I'm using my reference number 14, which is a nice, very small, fluffy blending brush. Going to intensify it a little bit and make sure it meets with the brown right here in the center of the crease of my eye. And by the way, if you have hooded eyes, you can totally do this look and just place things exactly where I'm telling you, because my eyes are hooded too. I just usually like raise my eyebrow a little bit to like show you, but like with my face relaxed, this is what I look like. And you need to place the colors high like this so that when your eye is open, people can still see them. And my eyes are uneven, so I'm even showing you my less hooded eye. This one is like the worst on this side. Anyways, I'm dying to use the color Summer Moon, and I have it on a reference number 2 brush, and I'm going to pat it in the center of the eye right here. Just pat it in place right here through the center. I grabbed a lot. My brush was very saturated and I barely have any fallout, if any. I'm very surprised. I was being very careful because I knew I had grabbed a ton of product. I'm going to take it all the way to the edge of my crease here and down, press it on the lash line. And I don't even have to go back and re-dip because, like I said, I had a lot of product on my brush and I think that was enough. That was nice. To better blend this glittery shade into the matte colors, I'm going to use some shimmers. The first shimmer I'm grabbing is the shade Orgasm on another number 2 brush. Just patting it on the edge right here. Pat it. Back with a little bit more of the matte Rosa shade because I want it to be seen in this inner corner still. And then on this edge, I'm going to use Komodo Island as my transitioning shimmer. That looks really pretty. And this is just extra because I want to use as many of the shades as I possibly can. You could have just like blended the colors a little better, but I do like using, you know, third shades to transition one shade into the other, you know? So this right here is the top of the first look. I'm going to be right back to finish it up. Back with some makeup on, and I have the color Palmas right here on a reference number 3 brush. And I'm going to, from the outer corner, blend it forward underneath the eye. And then with our transition color Isla, we are going to diffuse the under eye area. I'm using a reference number 26 brush for this, but if you have the number 13 or 14, any of those will work. Just back and forth. Okay, I just switched to my reference number 13 for a little bit more smokiness. And for the inner corner, the color Satisfy, using a reference number 28 right there. Ooh, that looks so pretty. I'm using a brown eyeliner from Natasha Denona in my waterline. And this right here is the final first look before mascara or lashes. I absolutely love to combine browns with rose stones, so I am all over this look. I love it. Back with mascara on, and this is the first look with just mascara on. This mascara is not super volumizing, but I really love that it defines every single lash hair. Okay, back with lashes on. These are velour in the style Flawless, which I cannot put away as of recently. I love them. And this right here is the final first look. I just love the glamour that like putting lashes on brings to the looks. Like I said, I love the combination of brown and rose tones. And let's go ahead and move on to the second look. Okay, I'm going to start the second look with my reference number 15 in the shade Lagunas, which is like a nice cool tone transition-y type of color. And I'm going to once again blend it all over the crease of my eye. Just back and forth. Blend, blend, blend up here. Make sure you don't have any harsh edges. It's not actually cool toned, it's more so neutral, I would say. Anyways, it is blended all over the crease now. I want to intensify things on the inner and outer corner. So this is the color Tikahau, and I am placing it first on the inner third of my eyelid and blending it up to the crease. And this is a pretty nice warm brown. And as you can see, I'm doing the same thing on the outer part of my eye. Nice intense outer corner. Blending it up into the crease. That looks really nice, but it created a bit of a harsher line on the crease. So I'm going back with my reference number 15 brush, nothing on it, just to blend everything back and forth. I'm putting a little bit of pressure to move the product around a little more, or a little faster, I would say. And then back with my reference number 1, this time I grabbed the color Fetish. And I'm only going to put Fetish on the outer corner of the eye, the outer V right here. So I'm doing little circles to blend it from the lash line to the crease. I'm blending it forward through the crease a little bit. And once again, if you feel like you need to go back with your clean fluffy brush to just blend everything nicely. I'm dying to use the shade Love on Fire. And so I'm going to pat it right in the center of the eyelid. This is the sparkliest shade I've ever seen from Nars, and it looks really beautiful. I'm very impressed at the fact that I'm 2 looks in and I'm using like glittery shimmers and there hasn't been fallout, like at all. Okay, so I'm going back with the brush just to intensify things until they become as opaque as I want them to be. And notice that I didn't use any like glitter glue per se. I just used my Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. Everything I've used will be linked down below, of course, but no additional glitter glue or anything, and I haven't even had fallout, which I'm pretty impressed by right now. A little bit more of that color Tikahau right here on the inner part to blend it into the glitter, and also a little bit more Fetish on my reference number 1 to go over the edge of the glitter on the outer part. And I created a little edge back here, so I'm back with my reference number 15, just diffusing it. Okay, so check it out. This is the top of look number 2. Let me put some makeup on and I'll be right back to finish it up. Back with some makeup on, and I have the color Fetish right here on a reference number 3 brush, and I'm just going to bring it forward from the outer corner and inwards. And with the reference number 3 and the color Laguna, we are going to diffuse the under eye. Very light pressure on my reference number 13. Now on the inner corner, the color Satisfy once again. And I'm going to blend it into the crease a little bit right here. I like to sometimes do a little extra with my inner corner color. Brown Natasha Denona eyeliner for my under eye, and this right here is the final second look. Back with mascara on, this is the final second look. I really like the peachy colors and the dark smoky browns. Back with some lashes on, and this right here is look number 2. I love me some glittery shadows, so that warm orange glittery shade in the center of the eye I'm obviously obsessed with. The color that I've been using for the inner corner I feel like doesn't look as shiny on the pan, but once you put it on it is a perfect inner corner shade, and I absolutely love the depth that this palette has and how easy to blend all of the shades are. Let's go ahead and move on to the third and final look. Okay, to begin the third look, I already have the brown eyeliner in my waterline, and I'm starting with my Refer number 15 brush and the color Taj Mahal. I'm not sure if the color Taj Mahal made a huge difference to like the overall look, but I did start with this one on the other eye, so I'm doing it over here as well. So then with the Refer number 1 brush, I grabbed the color Lagunas and I smoked out the upper edge of the crease. Then I grabbed that matte rosa color and I am building up the outer V of the eye with it, blending it into the crease shades. For some reason I went with all halo eyes for this one. I don't know what got into me, but it just felt right. So I'm putting that color on the crease and then inner and outer corners of the eye. Then with the Refer number 13 and the color Bad Intentions, I'm going to deepen things up even more. This is like a satin shimmer type of purpley shade, and it'll just darken up everything really nicely and just back and forth blended. So then with a flat brush, I'm putting the color Summer Moon right in the center of this eye look. Right here. I really wanted to use the color Summer Moon again. This is definitely, I think, my favorite glittery shimmer from this palette. So this is the top of the third look. Let me be right back with makeup on and we'll finish it up. Back with some makeup on, and I'm going to use the color Bad Intentions underneath my eyes. I'm putting it on with a Refer number 26 brush, just from the outer corner inwards, back and forth down here. And then with my Refer number 13 brush in the color Laguna, we are going to smoke that out. Lastly, on a Refer number 28, the color Satisfy, and I'm bringing it in a little bit right here. And this is look number 3 before mascara or lashes. Let me be right back to show you the final results. And lastly, here is the look with some lashes on. Definitely let me know which look was your favorite. I think look number 1 I think might have been my favorite, and then I also really like this one a lot. Honestly, I like them all, but I feel like I would pick 1, 3, 2. I'm back and I had an absolute blast playing with this Nars palette today. I was so amazed by the lack of fallout in general. Like, these shades go pretty dark. We did some glittery shimmers and nothing fell underneath my eyes, so if you like hate fallout, this is a really good brand of eyeshadow for you to get. Love the intensity, love the blendability. I love that the palette has like all of the different categories of eyeshadows that I like a palette to have. It has some nice transition colors, some pretty shimmers, a lot of mattes. It has some depth, a really nice color for the inner corner. It just hits all of my checkpoints, which I am really happy about. Again, the one negative thing is that like the color story is not super unique, but if you're just looking for amazing quality eyeshadows and you're looking for a nice staple palette that you can literally use for any occasion, then you might really like this one, and I do recommend it in that case. So yes, those are my thoughts on this palette, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. So please let me know what you think of this palette down in the comment section. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye!